Hello, welcome back to another one of Capes and Phasers Star Trek Strange New Worlds reviews, episode reviews. We are at season 3, episode 4, and that was a pile of shit. I'm joined by Grey Gamer, who liked it slightly
And
better
that's the
than
end of the
I
review.
did.
Thank you very much.
I did enjoy that, my man. I must admit that was a 2 out of 10 for me. I was going to say 1 actually, but yeah, slightly better. Great. This was a murder mystery episode
Uh,
to test out the experimental holodeck technology. This is them literally looking at Canon and seeing how close they can get to that line just to piss people off, and because they've got nothing better to do with their time. Did you enjoy this episode?
um, let me think about that. I enjoyed it for what it was because I liked a lot of obviously through the episode, I was seeing a lot of things thrown back to TOS. The way that Kirk was acting in it was obviously acting like Shatner here and there on purpose, using the font styles of TOS, using some of the blooper reels at the end where they always used to show mistakes and stuff. Other things too that just kind of reminded me of some of the TOS stuff, which they obviously did on purpose. I thought that the whole thing about doing the holodeck adventure as a murder mystery I liked it. It was cool for what it was. So if I had to say how much I liked it from a pure, I don't even know what I would call it, from a pure enjoyment factor, that was just like a one-off that, like you and I have always discussed, I would rate it probably higher. But in retrospect, because of the fact that they're doing too many of these things, and that we want to see some good Star Trek like we did on the opening episode with the Gorn, et cetera, et cetera. I'm still going to give it like a 6 because I did enjoy some of the stuff that I was seeing, but I don't understand why they have to come up with another episode. There's only like, what, 10, I guess? And they've already had 2 of these type episodes, and it's only 4 episodes in, so that's 50% already.
Yeah.
So I'm really getting concerned now. What does that mean? Does that mean we have another 3 episodes coming for like this? And then another 3 that are good, that are more Star Trek? God, I hope not, because that's
Yeah.
gonna really hurt the season for me. I mean,
Uh,
overall.
This is this is something that happened back in the older days of Trek, all 20 plus episodes a season. You would get filler episodes like this. You don't have to enjoy them, but you put up with them because you knew. And sometimes they were good,
Well,
actually, to be fair, and
to be
sometimes they
honest,
were not. But the thing is, great for me, you can get away with that in the older Trek days because you had over 20 episodes. When you only have
right?
10, and over a third of your season is going to be filled with this waffle, then that's unacceptable. I can put up with
Mhm.
1 in a 10 episode arc. I can't put up with as many as 3 potentially in a season.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
were
mean,
going to say something.
no, I'm saying I agree 100%. I mean, in the TOS days, I enjoyed some of the one-offs, but the one-offs out of 20. Oh, wait, I was closer to 30 shows back then, 28 to 30 shows a season, believe it or not. They would throw maybe 2 or 3 of these, and a lot of times they were good, or maybe one that was and then the other 2 were good. But that was in the scheme of 30 shows, and now they're throwing 2 of them already in the scheme of 10 shows, and I'm like, well, come on,
And there'll
man.
be another one. I think there's another one due as well.
They need to only do one,
Yeah,
and
I
then
get
do
that.
other things. And then if they're going to do a one-off, make it a good one-off, something that like adds something to the series or to maybe a storyline that they're tracking or whatever. I mean, there was a bunch of standalone episodes I remember in season 1 that were great when they were just starting out. They didn't do so many silly things, and then they started
Yeah.
getting the silly bug when season 2 came around. And now it looks like they're getting the extremely silly bug. I don't know. The
Uh,
only thing good about it,
I
like you and
don't.
I were saying, was it wasn't a singing one. It wasn't the singing one. But what really bothers me, and there's a lot of people online talking about this, you figure we've had 2 of these, like we've said already. We already know that we saw a clip of the 4th season where they're going to be puppets and look like Muppets. And I'm like, oh my God, this was the worst time to tell me that you're going to do Muppets in season 4 when you're doing 2
Well,
shows that are off the wall. So
the good thing is the singing episode's been done. I think it's
yeah,
almost physically impossible to make a worse episode than that.
yeah.
Otherwise, the Muppet episode would have probably been up there as being the worst. Because at the end of the day, this is science fiction, and there's no way you can science your way into being Muppets for an episode. It's just
Mm-hmm.
impossible. And if you pull out the whole Q thing, magic thing, then I'm sorry, that's been done to death already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I This is the problem with Strange New Worlds for me. It's a very much a
Mm-hmm.
mixed bag. The problem is if you look at a season arc overall, or you give a season a score, an average score, it might only get like 6 out of 10 or something
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many average or poor episodes or random ones like this that pull it down. Because if you
Yeah.
were to base it on the good episodes, it'd be more like a 7 or an 8 easy because
Sure.
the good episodes
Sure.
are good. It's still right. Anyway, so that's enough ranting about that. I know we're maybe
Yeah.
getting another one coming, whatever.
Well,
I
let's hope not.
literally, I'll be generous and give it a 3 out of 10. I've moved it up one, but generally, I think that's the lowest I've ever given anything. I can't remember what I gave the Klingon opera episode. It was probably something similar, to be honest with
Yeah, dude.
you. But I put it out of my mind, so that's what I can't really remember. Anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
basing the episode on its own, we obviously have Laan basically heavily interested in Mr. Spock, and
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Spock interested in her after a little kiss at the end. Is there going to be a cat fight on board Enterprise next week to fight over Spock between Chapel and Lan?
I mean, I hope not, because in the again, going back to canon, they fleshed out the story where Nurse Chapel, whatever. I'm going back now even farther, where she ended up meeting Corey, which she did, and she ended up marrying Corey for a while. So if they were to follow what I know about TOS, then that's that. She's not going back to Spock. I mean, that's it. She's already committed, to what she's doing.
Unless she cheats on him. Cheats on
Well,
Kirby, yeah.
the other thing too is I hope that doesn't happen, because if that were to happen, it would cheapen the entire series right there.
Oh,
Because
cheaping, you talk about cheapening after what just happened there.
no, but
That's ironic.
what I'm saying is you can get away with this because it was a holodeck. But if you start doing some soap opera type stuff in the regular run of shows and programs, you're just that's not good. That's not good at all.
The episode was kind of smart in that the safeties, holodeck safeties, as usual, are not working. My only concern with that is that story's been done to death. And if anyone comes back and goes, it's not been done to death yet, we're not going in chronological order. Unfortunately, we never watched these in chronological order, so I wished it worked like that.
Mhm.
But it was kind of smart there that actually they had to solve the murder mystery. And in the end, it was actually Spock that was the one that
Yeah,
done
I mean that
the
was good because
shooting.
I didn't suspect that. So
And it was the AI, the computer AI, that literally recreated Spock in his original Starfleet clothing to fool
mhm.
Laan. So they didn't have a clue. That was really, really cool. But the characters, the characters, I want your opinion, Gray, in terms of, I think Pike for you, the character that Pike played was probably the funniest one. He just
Mhm.
looked like a bit of a loser, a cool guy. His hair wasn't erect as usual. It's very flat. He played the part of a writer who had a bit of a grudge. Who was your favorite like character within that?
Probably Anson Mount's character, just because he really looked like enjoyed pulling off that character.
Pike's character, not Anson Mount's character. Anson Mount plays Pike.
Well, yeah,
Pike's
whatever,
character, yeah.
something like that.
It's acting inception, man. It goes deep.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for the fact that some of the stuff like that was good, and it wasn't, and also we didn't suspect Spock, I probably would have rated it lower. But 6 to me is just, I'm barely giving it a 6, just because of the things that I did like about it.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
but but again, I don't care how good. I don't care how good another episode like this one off is. If they are going to do another one, we can't see another one. They just can't do that. If they were due, it better be one hell of a good show. I mean, period. Because I'm tired of this stuff that's just there. I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing now,
Who knows?
one of the only things I tended to like in this episode is we got to see a lot more of Leon, which is great in more
Not
ways than one.
Leanne, Laan.
Leon,
Possibly there, man.
Leon. So we got
But
to see more. We got to see a lot more of her, and so that was good in a couple different ways. So that was cool.
yeah. Well, is that a euphemism? Yeah, is that a
You could
euphemism there?
say
A
that.
couple of different ways. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
Let's just put it this way: the choice of attire was different on more than one occasion. So there was
mm,
that.
would have
I
been.
want to talk briefly about Scotty in this, who was
Mhm.
amusing. So this was Scotty's first time with the training wheels off, and Pellier is still on leave, and he's running things, and he's not asking for help. He's a bit overwhelmed because the Enterprise is watching a neutron star go kablooey, and it needs all the power available, but there's none available or none spare because Scotty's putting it all into the AI simulation, aka the holodeck, and you just see him with like cables coming out everywhere and data pads, and he's like, ah, shit. The one
Mm,
thing that I found interesting, Gray, a little side note, I mentioned this to Gray before, is again, apologies, I don't recall the actor's name. He's done things before in British TV.
mhm.
He is an actual Scotsman, so he actually talks more, I don't want to use the word scruffy, but harsher than even I do.
Mm.
Because when I'm talking to people, especially if I'm recording an episode or something, I purposely, and I do this in life, I slow down, I make my speech clearer because you want to be understood. And the folks over the pond are not used to hearing this accent a lot, so they tend to not focus too much and listen that carefully, Gray. They're used to hearing their own accent. It's only when they actually slow down and go, wait, okay, I got what you said. So when you hear this guy playing Scotty, actually just not saying computer, but computer, like he's
Yeah.
not, he's saying it quick and he's not saying out all the syllables in the words. I'm thinking some of your countrymen are a little bit screwed there for
By the way,
understanding this,
I
man.
didn't mean to interrupt, but can you repeat everything you just said? No, like.
I like it. I like it. Your countrymen all have an issue understanding that, man. They
Yeah,
will.
I
I
mean,
mean, great. You're used to hearing me, so that's
yeah,
fine for
yeah.
you. But if you weren't used to hearing me, you'd be like, huh?
I think it's like anything else. I've had, you know, enough good friends like you over in the UK that I've gotten quite used to a lot of the accents. But when the accents get thicker, I still have a problem understanding it. Like I remember when I used to, because I love Monty Python. So when I used to listen to Monty Python's TV show,
Mhm.
it sometimes it was really difficult for me to because I used to laugh at everything they did. It was great, but every once in a while they talk and people were laughing and I didn't know what the hell they were saying. I had to go back and play it like 2 or 3 times to get
There
through the
was no
thickness.
subtitles back then.
Exactly. So I had to
Yeah.
go back and listen to this accent. I'm going like, what is he saying? And then I would finally maybe figure it out and laugh. And then sometimes I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. Like,
It's
you know,
the thing is the guy that plays Scotty. He's a lot of the time they are allowed to expand upon what they say, right? Like for example, was it
yeah,
last week or 2 weeks ago? He said "bawhead," right? And I explained to Gray what that was. I absolutely bent double, pissing myself laughing when I heard that because I was like, "What?" They probably don't have a clue what that means over there. The directors probably went, "What? What was that? What did you?" Right, it's fine. It's a small thing, and then before you know it, actually, it's actually a little bit more offensive than
yeah.
people maybe realise that, Grace. So um, they get a bit more freedom to say what they want there, and he adds in some words of his own, and some things have to be actually pegged back and whatnot. So this is just good to see the training wheels off. Are we? Thing is, he hasn't done any miracles yet, Gray. Sorry.
Right.
So while the training wheels are off and he's learning, basically number one says, listen, ask for help next time, because that's one of his flaws. When the ship went down last time, he feels guilty because it crashed and he was trying to save the day and he couldn't. So
Right.
what did you make of Scotty in this episode? Are you a bit sad you haven't seen a miracle yet?
No, I don't think so because I mean, yes and no. Yes, because I'm used to, seeing him perform well. But then I have to remember this is his much younger self, and he just
Oh yeah.
started, and that even though you can see some of the brilliance in him even at this age, which is fine, you can't just all of a sudden make him a mature Scotty at this age. All of a sudden, he has to go through his growing pains. The thing that I thought was interesting is when he felt like it was his mistake, his fault that his crew died because he was trying to save the day, like you said. Now you can actually see how that one incident pushed him to be the miracle worker that happened later, because there was many times where he did save the ship, etc. So now you can kind of see where his influences and things are coming from. So
Yeah,
that's cool.
true.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way: if there wasn't some of these scenes within this episode, I would definitely have given this a lower score. Because if it was nothing but the holodeck episode and nothing else, yeah, I would have gone lower. But because we got some vignettes out of there and onto the normal stuff going on in the Enterprise, that kind of relieved it, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I gave it a lower score before, and then actually realised that some of these scenes outside were actually a little bit cooler, and it was actually bringing the score up ever so
Hey,
slightly.
we got some nice shots of the Enterprise from the back end and from trying to avoid that great gamma ray gravitation, whatever it
Neutron
was.
star.
Yeah, they were just, but this thing was coming at them, and she had to do some fancy flying in 30 seconds. So that was pretty cool. I like that.
This is what happens when you film an episode or filler episodes like this. You have a little bit more CGI budget to use. So no wonder we saw these cool shots. Yeah, no, it wasn't phenomenal for me. We might have another one of these episodes left in the tank,
Oh,
which is annoying, but at least we know that the rest will be pretty decent. So I'm hoping the overall
well,
score does not pull down too much for this season.
the one of the examples I can say about a one-off, and I hate that sometimes I really don't like that saying, but there was an episode of Star Trek called Enemy Within, which really showcased Shatner's acting chops, probably the best of most things. Now, that could be considered a one off only because it was a lot of psychological stuff going on. And they really didn't do a lot of special effects that episode. The only special effects they did were the transporter that split him in half and stuff, and got him, and then they figured out how to get him back together again. Blah blah blah. Other than that, there was hardly any special effects in the whole episode. It was driven by Shatner's acting of two separate Kirks, and it was one of the best episodes Trek ever's done. So it's not
Yeah.
like it can't be done. And
Oh
if you
yeah.
guys out there that are listening, if you've never seen TOS, go back to TOS and look up an episode called "A Piece of the Action." "A Piece of the Action" was a total
You
one-off.
said enemy within.
What?
You said enemy within a moment ago.
No, that was another one you can watch. That was a great one. But I'm talking now, I'm
Oh,
shifting gears, talking about an entire episode that was more humorous and more staying in that entire vein the whole way for the most part. You have to see it. It's really great. It was a planet that they went to that adopted 1940s um, uh, organized crime as its
right.
motif for the world. So the whole world was like run by gangsters and stuff, and so they got involved in it, and they had to start blending in, and blending in was hilarious. That's what there's some scenes in there that are just unbelievable. If you
Yeah.
talk to anybody who knows
Especially
TOS,
Spock.
ask them what Fizbin is. Fizbin was a game that Kirk had to make up on the spot, a card game, to keep these gangsters interested in something, is that they like to gamble, right? So he had to make up a whole card game called Fizbin out of the air. And he sits there going like, the rules and stuff, and they're trying to follow, and they're going like, and it bought them a lot of time, when they were doing stuff like that. And then you had to have Spock talk like a gangster because nobody would fall for him being logical and talking very monotone. So he had to. It was great. Nimoy had to sit there and be Spock and try to put on some kind of a gangster accent, and I was cracking up, hitting the floor. He'd just be sitting there going like, "Yeah, you guys," like that, and and it just came off so bad because Spock's trying to do it. He's trying to blend in, and
Yeah.
it's just like Kirk is sitting there going like, "Holy shit, what are we gonna do?" It's
There
a
you go.
great episode. If you've never seen it, and if you've never seen it, Trev, you got to go watch it. It's so
I've seen
good.
it. I've seen it. I've
Yeah,
watched
it's
most of
great.
TOS at some point in another through my time. All right, we'll wrap up there for this week's episode. We'll be
Mhm.
back next week, roughly about the same time as well. Thank you for your patience and say goodbye to the people, Mr. Gray.
Bye bye. Live long and prosper. No more of those episodes.
Take it easy, guys. Bye bye.